and the latest in terms of the numbers, HDFC Bank, those numbers were largely in line with what one was penciling in. How are you looking at the numbers? Also, they've guided for FY26 growth to be largely in line with industry. They've done that, right?
Correct. They have done that. They're just about reaching the system growth. And believe next year they've guided for faster than the system growth. So we will see that. Secondly, with a lot of infusion, see the macro is much better than last year. You had a CRR cut, you had a lot of liquidity infusion by the new governor. And because of that, you are seeing the CD ratios now becoming more stretched than what was earlier. So what HDFC Bank might not deliver on in the near term is on the CD ratio guidance that they have given.
Kaitav, how do you look at some of the updates that have come in from NBFCs, private sector banks, and PSU banks? It seems that the PSU banks have performed much better in Q3.
So within the various categories within banks and NBFCs, clearly you can see PSU banks have grown better year on year. They're slightly better than the system, and year on year we look at because second to third quarter generally there is a jump. And similar case would be from third to fourth quarter sequentially. There is generally a bigger jump. So we look at year on year, but PSU banks fairly have done well. It's the smaller private sector banks which have are lower than system. This is not a big surprise because they're in the midst of a transformation. Capital has just come in. You might see some changes in the way they do their business. Maybe risk taking appetite can improve from here on, but that takes 6 months, 1 year to just start kicking in, and momentum as yet is not on their side. This was not expected. Sharper growth immediately after capital raise was not expected in them. The NBFCs, some of the smaller ones have done well. Bajaj is slightly soft. It was expected. I think they have been guiding for a softer quarter this year. And we The most important number for us would remain the credit cost, whether they bring it down sustainably below 2% or not.
Okay, and Keta, when you talk about small finance banks, do you or like slightly smaller banks, are you talking particularly about RBL Bank? Because on the flip side, AU Small, Suryoday, they've done pretty well for themselves, and Equitas too.
Correct. So we're specifically talking about RBI Yes Bank, which had seen a fundraise recently. Both of them have seen fair bit of management change as well, promoter control as well. So they will take some time to kickstart.
What do you make of the numbers of some of the smaller banks? If I were to just bunch them together, something like a Suryoday, something like an Equitas, where growth has rebounded extremely sharply. Believe seasonality is what is causing this? Do you believe that asset quality challenges are now waning and they are more comfortable to grow at a higher pace? How do you view those?
So these SFBs would categorize would broadly be in the MFI space, where we see some amount of rebound. It'll be a gradual rebound. It won't be single quarter sharp jump up. Because at the ground level, a lot of discipline is getting implemented. Three lender policy is getting implemented. Your existing customer who has done well is likely to get retained and get a larger loan amount of action. So because of these two, where the SFBs are well placed, they're taking advantage of the growth.
Ketav, solely on the base of these quarter three updates, when the final numbers do come in, what would your pecking order be in terms of the pockets within the BFSI space that have done well? If you had to categorize between large private sector banks, smaller private sector banks, small finance banks, and of course your PSUs and NBFCs.
It clearly looks like the PSUs are leading the pack. We will be watchful about um, the treasury gains or losses. And near term, I don't think there are any concerns. But over time, in the past, whenever PSU banks have started growing faster, you just have to be cautious about the asset quality or the underlying. Basis these numbers, PSU banks have done the best, I would say. You have certain pockets within the small finance banks that are doing well. And we will wait for the credit cost improvement in those companies to be able to say whether they are out of the woods or not. Most banks, remember, have been guiding that second quarter was the worst for them. So that would be something that we look forward to in the third quarter, the credit cost number.
Okay, and Kaitav, if you have to talk to us about how you are reading into the microfinance segment this time around, we have seen some pressure in the past. Do you believe this quarter is a sign of some of the easing that we're seeing in microfinance or not yet?
We are definitely seeing some easing. I think since January, when the RBI called it out, improved the risk weight numbers on MFI, there has been gradual improvement. Some of the better owned NBFCs have done pretty well. Like an L&T Finance, I think they've started disbursing. They saw disbursements move up in second quarter to 12-13%. Karnataka situation for some of the MFIs has improved. So overall, there is definitely a gradual improvement. You won't see all round improvement. There are several MFI players. The larger ones with a diversified portfolio are likely to stand this better in the near term.
Kaitav, if you can also comment on the kind of numbers that came in from Bajaj Finance. Numbers seems to be pretty much in line or below street estimate. Where is the issue coming in for them?
So two areas. One was the MSME space that they've highlighted. I think they're redoing that. Second is also the housing finance book for them that has slowed down a bit. So because of these two reasons, they did estimate that there will be slightly slowing growth. Um, Again, this is also function. If you look at some of the other fast growing NBFCs, you had a Chola that also saw some slowdown in second quarter. So both of the top two NBFCs are actually seeing some slowdown.
Okay, Kaitav, appreciate that input and thank you so much for your time this morning. Thanks once again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.